Meantime, Jackie, watch this. Day 3, partial government shutdown underway. Democrats pushing to try and defund Homeland Security, doubling down on anti-ICE rhetoric. Meanwhile, some Republicans have their own demands. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, working to win them over.
We'll get all this done by Tuesday, I'm convinced. We do have to do it we have a rule process. Remember, the bills that have already been passed, we're going to do it again. It's a formality at this point. The Homeland Security bill is important, and we have important negotiations. The president is leading this. It's his play call to do it this way. He has already conceded that he wants to turn down the volume, so to speak, and make sure this is done in an appropriate way.
Okay, waiting and watching the clock. With us, Georgia Republican Buddy Carter on the House Budget Committee. Sir, nice to see you, and thank you for your time today on this chilly Monday morning. He says it's done by tomorrow. Is it that easy?
Well, it's not easy. Let's make sure we understand that. But I do think we can get it done. And look, the president is called to play. Donald Trump called to play. He's the quarterback, and we need to follow through on that. And I think that Republicans will stick together with this. But, you know, it's funny. This is Groundhog Day all over again. We're witnessing what we witnessed back in the fall with the Democrats, Jon Ossoff, Chuck Schumer, voting 14 times against opening up the government, putting illegal immigrants above the American citizens. Now they're doing it again, only this time they're putting it above the American citizens in order to defund ICE, to defund DHS. It's just the same thing as what they did before in defunding the police.
Okay, so here is Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic leader in the House, on Sunday.
ICE agents should conduct themselves like every other law enforcement agency in the country, as opposed to running around mass thugs, in many instances, unleashing brutality, or even, holding in detention a 5-year-old boy with a superhero backpack. That's not the type of violent felon that the administration promised they were going to target, and the American people are rejecting it, and we're going to stand on their side.
All right, so they're making 3 demands that are pretty obvious, maybe more by some of them. They want warrants by a judge before you do a search. They want the agents to take off the mask, and they want body cameras. Is there a chance you reach a deal? You get.
I think there's a chance.
At the end of this 2-week extension, and you guys are at loggerheads yet again, and they only need to peel off a few Republicans in the House, and then we're on a full-on shutdown at that point. Is that possible at the moment?
Well, it's possible. I would say it's not probable, though. I will tell you that I'm very, very confident we're going to get it done. President Trump, again, has called this play. We need to follow the play, and I think that he'll be able to convince enough of our members that we can do that, if we can do it, if we have to do it without any Democratic support. But I think we're going to get some Democratic support personally, and it's important to know body cameras. I agree, we should have body cameras on ICE agents, and we put that into the appropriations budget. Now, the other things that they're demanding, I'm not sure. We need to make sure we protect our ICE agents. They are heroes. They're doing their job. They're trying to protect the American citizens here, trying to get criminal, illegal immigrants off of the streets. And those people who are funding these protesters, those people who are cheering them on, those people who are participating, they need to be held accountable.
Okay, just come back to what you said about Democratic support. Over the weekend, it was said they're going to vote as a bloc. You're saying something different. How many Democrats would vote with Republicans on this?
Well, I will tell you, I think there could be a handful who would do just that, who would vote with us. Keep in mind, there are a number of Democrats who are in swing districts as well, and they're concerned about their elections. So, and not only that, but they want what's best for our country. Look, there are some good people on the other side of the aisle, just not enough of them, but there are some good people who recognize that we need to support our police, that the ICE agents are there for a reason, and that they need cooperation, they need coordination from the local and state police.
Okay, you're not going to find that everywhere. Number 3, guys. We got New York, we got Chicago, and we got Portland. And in all 3 cities, the mayors are saying, well, here in New York, they're going to bar them from the jail at Rikers. In Chicago, ICE on notice executive order. In Portland, the mayor demands ICE leave city. The president's saying, if you're in a blue area and you don't ask for help, and use the word please, as he stated over the weekend, we're not going to be there for you.
And he means it, and I don't blame him. Look, when you have these leaders who are ignoring federal law, who are standing up to federal law and not cooperating and not coordinating, it makes it worse. If they would, you know, what Governor Walsh, when he called the White House, and I commend him for that, and it's about the only thing, but I do commend him for that. When he called the White House and he agreed, yeah, you can come into our jails and you can get the criminal illegal immigrants and you can send them back. That's what we need, that coordination, that cooperation from local and state officials. If they would simply do that, then we could avoid all of this, and the tragic loss of life that we witnessed in Minneapolis could be avoided as well.
Sir, thank you for coming on, and we'll see how it goes. All right, tomorrow's going to be a big day. Buddy Carter, thank you for your time on this Monday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.